One by one they follow me, laughing, drowning in the sea. The rest of the poem is sad.
And it started out so well. What could that be?
thing.
Yes. And you're the Iron Bull, afraid of demons.
Not fond of them, no. But you and I are fine as long as you don't do any weird crap.
Lying awake, sheets soaked in sweat, afraid to call the Tomasserans. Shadows make shapes in the dark. If it gets in my head, how do I cut it out? Itching, shaking, tears slide cold down my cheeks. Tama, I'm scared.
Yeah, weird crap like that. Pretty much what I meant.
What's this?
Darkspawn on the surface. I imagine Ferelden saw more than enough of them during the Blight.
This might interest you, sir. Make it take you! I've news, sir.
What is it?
Could prove useful, sir. Writing does not come naturally to me, as I'm certain you can imagine.
Let me guess, you're composing a love poem.
I couldn't, not even if my life depended on it.
It's not that hard.
Yes, it is. Poetry takes finesse, it takes grace.
Do you think you don't have those things?
Historians will one day ask what happened at Adamant Fortress, in the Fade. I wasn't there, but others were. Their accounts must be recorded.
Why should anyone care what historians think?
The original Inquisition did not care either, and history remembers them poorly. You may not be worried about your legacy now, but one day you might, and by then, it will be too late. I still don't know what to say about the spirit of the Divine. The Chantry teaches us that the souls of the dead pass through the Fade, so it could have been her. Yet even so...
I think it was a spirit, that's all.
Perhaps it saw Justinia's soul, and admired it enough to carry on her wishes. I hope that's true. I want to believe it. When they told me you were physically in the Fade, I was terrified for you. The last time such a thing happened, we created Darkspawn. We created Corypheus. The world needs to know the truth this time. No more legends lost to the ages.
Need a new sword?
I was thinking about it. I owe you an apology. When Cassandra sent you to speak to me, I should have handled myself better.
There's no need to apologize. How are you feeling?
I'm less exhausted. I hadn't realized how draining those months had been. The army has my full attention. I've informed Cassandra of the decision. Everything is as it should be.
So you're fine?
The Inquisition's Templars are well armed. This won't take long.
That's not what I meant.
Everything's fine, Inquisitor. I always wanted to be a Templar, to protect people. After Ferelden, I served out of fear, and because I was compelled. I thought if I removed the part that kept me chained, I would find my own purpose again. There are Templars who have been through worse. Once your sacrifices are made, is there no end? Are you leashed until the day you die? Or Lyrium takes your mind away?
You're risking life and mind already. But there must be a safer way. When this war is over, we'll look for it. I promise.
Another way, then.
The sight of you warms the heart.
I was hoping we could spend some time together.
What could we possibly do to pass the time?
got your wish, sort of.
Right.
Your worship.
Let's see what we have.
Inquisitor.
Inquisitor. I have been thinking. You remember everything now, yes? The explosion at Haven, the Fade, escaping the breach. In your report, you said Justinia was with you. But only you emerged in the end. Why? Why were you the only survivor?
She knew it was either her or me. And she wanted me to live.
Of course. Of course she did. That's just like her. Her message to me. I failed you too. I'm not sure I understand what that means. Did you say anything else? Anything at all? Please, if you remember.
Wait, you don't know what she meant either?
There are no answers in the Fate. Only illusions. A warped mirror. Justinia has never failed me. I was her left hand. Now she's dead. I failed her. So it's true. Some look to Cassandra or even me as Justinia's successor. I never thought the idea would gain momentum. Of course, with the other candidates out of the picture...
Is becoming divine something you really want?
When Justinia was alive, I would have laughed at anyone who even suggested that I could be her successor. Things have changed. Still, I don't know. Restoring the Chantry will be like trying to steer a sinking vessel through a storm.
Whoever becomes divine will have my support if she requires it.
And I'm sure whoever becomes divine will absolutely require the Inquisition's backing. The Chantry is faltering, but it still has influence over the people. Who tells the people what's right? Who do they look to in times of peril? A divine with enough support can change the Chantry. And with it, Thedas. But this is a discussion for later. If Corypheus wins, finding a new divine will be the least of our problems. A message from Divine Justinia.
That's a shock. You're all right reading it?
Thank you for the concern, Inquisitor. But I am. This message was written months, perhaps even years ago, to be delivered to me if she died. I've heard of such contingency plans. A sudden death often leaves loose ends. I'm to go to Valence, a small village on the waking sea. There is something hidden there.
Why hide things in Valence? What's so special about it?
Justinia was revered mother at the Chantry there for many years before she became the Divine. It is a place that holds great meaning for her.
Do you know what you're looking for?
The Divine was a powerful woman who used her position to obtain all sorts of things. Whatever she hid in Valence would very likely benefit the Inquisition and must be kept from falling into the wrong hands. If I'm lucky, she will have instructions for me.
Is this you asking permission to leave for a bit?
Well, yes. I can't imagine I'll be away from my post for very long. And I was hoping you would agree to come with me. Will you at least consider it? One more thing. If what is hidden in Valence is as valuable as I think, we're not going to be the only ones looking for it. I shall meet you at the Chantry in Valence. Try not to delay.
It is beneficial that you resolved the issue I presented, Inquisitor.
What is your evaluation of how we're doing?
I am able to pursue my duties with optimal efficiency, thanks to Skyhold's present state.
As you were.
Yes, Inquisitor.
You have remarkably little here on early Tevinter history. All these gifts to the Inquisition, and the best they can do is the Malefica Imperio. Trite propaganda. But if you want 20 volumes on whether Divine Galatea took a shit on Sunday, this is evidently the place to find it.
That's the Dorian I know, critiquing every book in my library.
I wouldn't have to, if you could find some rebellious heretic archivist to join the cause.
Are there rebellious archivists? Other than you, that is.
If Corypheus ever starts burning masterworks of literature, I'm sure a few will pop up. Did I see something by Genitivi here? I could have sworn.
What is this about, Dorian?
What else could it be about? What happened at Adamant, of course. We went into the Fade. Physically went in. Are you... all right?
Hawke is gone.
The Fade is an ordeal under normal circumstances. To be the only real thing there, beyond description. That any of us made it out alive is difficult to believe. You do realize this feat hasn't been performed in over 1,000 years. Corypheus and his contemporaries entered the Fade and began the Blights. In comparison,
So I should be happy I accomplished something so grand?
concerned, more like. If you can walk in the Fade, others will try to follow. Who knows what secrets Corypheus has revealed? Not all of them will be as lucky as you. What they could unleash. My advice? Keep this quiet. Let them speculate. Too many will see this as a challenge.
You don't number among them.
It's tempting, but I'm no fool. There are enough idiots in the world who think if they just use enough blood magic, their problems will vanish. It's exactly the sort of thing I want to stop back home. This I don't need. What I do need is a copy of the Liberalum. I'll wager I can find Corypheus's real name. If I can prove he was a grasping ankle-biter with no family to speak of, the luster would come right off. Wish me luck.
Worship.
Are the soldiers ready?
As ready as they can be. We're asking a lot of them.
So this is the shrine Corypheus hid from Calpurnia.
There are similar places in Tevinter. Notice how you feel it in the back of your mind. There's power here. Or was.
It is far, far too quiet.
This is a sad place, filled with old pain. People spoke here, and something listened, until it didn't.
Samson has failed, but Calpurnia stands ready.
The stones trapped the words, like a mind. He wanted someone to listen.
Did the others never return from the Black City? There is no record even of our names. We are vilified by legend. They spit on our deeds and claim we brought darkness into the world. We discovered. How does this age stand such desolation? They sing to a maker who answers no prayers. Once I am ascended, I will be their answer. I will be their light. A slave girl who burned with potential, ignored by all save myself. A master did not see it. No one saw it. The world has gone craven and blind. Calpurnia prepares to set foot in the place where regret dwells, to bring it into the light. She cannot know what must be done, cannot understand. In time, she will forgive. How
Light the burner. Add a teaspoon of cinema. He came down in fire and splendor. Chapter 9, verse 1.
Look at that containment spell. It would hold a dozen pride demons.
What is this? Who are you?
Magister Erasthenes, am I a scholar of Tevinter? To Corypheus I am bound to answer every question. For Jasonius' sake, I am lost.
Corypheus did this to you, on Calpurnia's behalf.
She knows not. I am a ruin, the jeweled husk when the butterfly leaves. I was the greatest scholar of the old gods in Minrathus. No, in the Imperium. One night, he came to my door. For my relics, I thought, my writings and runes. But instead, my slave went to his side, Calpurnia, to become the vessel that saved Tevinter.
If Calpurnia is this vessel, what are the contents going to be?
I do not know. It must be some sort of power. Power like Arthemiel's, risen in flame and...
Is that why Calpurnia joined Corypheus? To save your empire?
Yes, she seeks a leader, Corypheus, to shape Tevinter's rebirth. She would raise up the slaves as she was raised. Bring a new order with a heart of steel. She could do it if she were not the vessel.
If Calpurnia is the one Corypheus wanted, why do this to you?
For practice. Corypheus crafts a vessel for whatever power he seeks. Yes. But he does not need his vessel to have free will. About her, these same chains will fall. Iron to cage lightning. My binding is the poor pencil sketch. Calpurnia will be the masterpiece.
She'd reconsider being Corypheus's pet magister if she found out.
Hers is a cold rage. to rival the wrath of Corypheus. Oh. His chain has broken me, friend. No wings can raise my mind. Please, breach the circle. Its wards will trigger. I will be dust and light, free.
Or it will kill us. Corypheus is not above placing such a trap.
Corypheus' circle will hold its destruction within. Tight, tight. No fear. Only freedom.
I can't waste your knowledge. Liliana should question you. My agents will secure this place. Maybe they can undo that circle somehow.
You would make of me what he makes of Calpurnia. What shall I make of that?
Commander Cullen did good work at Adamant. Breached those walls like he'd done it a dozen times. Nice job with the demons, by the way.
I'd like to know more about the Iron Bull.
The Chief. First time I met him, he saved my life. I never thought I'd work for a Canary, but he grows on you. He's not like any commander I've ever worked for. That's for damn sure.
How's Iron Bull as a commander?
If you know what you're doing and hold up your end, he's easy. He doesn't accept any less. If he keeps us alive, he leads from the front, and if you've an idea that'll win the fight, he listens. I've seen bands whose captains had to prove they were swinging the biggest sword. Bull isn't like that. The charges might give him more lip than you'd expect, but every one of us would lay down our lives for the big ass.
How did a Tevinter soldier wind up in a Kunari spy's mercenary company?
I wasn't a soldier at the time. I was in some trouble, trying to flee Tevinter. A Tribune and his men caught me in a border town tavern. They meant to make an example of me. Bull killed them. Gave up his eye doing it. Patched me up and asked if I was looking for work. I've been putting up with his jokes ever since.
That's how he lost the eye?
Yes. The guards had me on the tavern floor when Bull came inside and yelled for them to stop. One of them saw trouble coming and figured he'd finish me off. The guard had a flare. Bull put himself between me and the blow. Big-horned idiot. Didn't even know me.
Is it strange to work for a Canary?
He hasn't tried to convert us to the Qun, if that's what you're asking. Bull's charges don't care who you light a candle for, so long as your shield stays up. If he hadn't told me he was Ben Hasrath, I'd have thought he'd left that life behind.
I didn't expect he'd tell you all that he was a spy.
Not the whole band, but those who've been around long enough to trust. He figures most of us would find out sooner or later, and it should come from him. Eyes to eye, he says. It's never messed up a job. He just writes letters back home. Lots of the boys write letters back home.
We'll talk later.
Again. Again. Come on! This is why the Qun doesn't like women fighting. I should have asked Cullen. Good one.
Perhaps you can take over.
Gunari training exercise to master your fear. Been a while since I needed it, but that nightmare demon was... big.
All right.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Damn demon. Who's stuck in the Fade, huh?
So we're working out your fear with a stick.
Less talking, more hitting. Piece of Fade, piece of crap! And who killed you? That's right, Iron fucking Bull! I needed that. Thanks, boss.
And that works for you?
Yep.
All right, then.
It's always wonderful to speak with you.
So, you're a candidate for Divine now.
So I am informed.
Is that something you actually want?
Why should what I want matter?
Why shouldn't it matter? Don't you have the right to be happy?
It is very simple. The Chantry needs to survive. To do that, it must change. I have never believed in asking another to do what you are unwilling to do yourself. So I look upon this as an opportunity. I owe it to myself and all of Thedas to seek the Sunburst throne.
There are other ways you can change things.
Perhaps. I may not have a choice in the matter if the Chantry clerics pick another.
I was hoping we could spend some time together.
With you? Always.
I have to know what it was like. The colors, the smells, the magic. I'm sorry, it's just so exciting. You went into the Fade. If you have time, Inquisitor, do tell.
You seemed excited that I fell into the Fade as adamant.
Excited? Spring gets me excited. This is a wonder. It's probably hard to relate, but dwarves don't dream. So I can't even guess what it's like. I can't even understand what dreams are. But you were there. And came back. Can I take a sample?
A sample?
Oh, that sounded sinister. I meant, can I cut a little piece off of you and do things to it? That didn't sound better, did it?
You'll have a full report of everything I saw. Will that do?
It's a start. I'm sorry, it's just... This is exciting. It all is. Your people cleaned you up after your fall. I wonder if anything is left. So much to think about.
Another of the lingering pains of Adamant, your worship. Sir Ruth is a senior warden of the Order. She was one of the many who slit the throat of another to bind a demon. She does not contest this. In fact, she surrendered to us. She requests no mercy. She wants the public justice of the headman's axe.
You're very serious about this. Is more death the answer?
There is no excuse for my actions.
I murdered another of the Order. That blood marks me more than the Blight ever could.
Accepting their actions while thralls of Corypheus, many treaties allow wardens any extreme if it opposes the Blight.
I can't do it. I can't use the greater good to justify my crimes, as if it would create a future I could be a part of. It is wrong that this broke me. I've done worse with full sanction. I can do nothing except be an example of the cost.
The Inquisition stands for faith. Our work has greater purpose. Sometimes we need a reminder. Sir Ruth, the Herald of Andraste forgives you in her name. Find peace in that.
Your worship, I will try.
The reports from our agents at the shrine are intriguing. You were correct. Once Calpurnia becomes the vessel, she will lose her freedom. We are interrogating this Magister Erasthenes. We may learn more from him.
Thanks to Corypheus, that old Magister will tell us everything.
A refreshingly straightforward operation, yes. Corypheus's notes mention a place where regret dwells. That is more of a mystery. Until the notes are deciphered, I intend rumors of the binding ritual to reach Calpurnia's ears.
Breaking her alliance with Corypheus can only help us.
Breaching his sanctum might give Corypheus pause, yet Calpurnia is silent, as are her agents. We have given her something to think about.
Watch you roam Skyhold all day. Here and there you run, checking in on your followers. Why don't they come to you, feed you grapes, rub your shoulders? I suppose it's more fun this way. For me, I mean. You're rather strapping.
I am rather strapping. How kind of you to notice.
If the Inquisitor was some grim-faced old man, it would be such a cliché. This is better. At any rate, you didn't pass by to hear me fawn. Something on your mind?
You said Alexius was a mentor of yours.
He was my patron, sponsoring me to the higher levels of the Circle of Magi. In return, my successes were his. I had a lot of successes, naturally. Alexius was most pleased. He and I used to talk over brandy about the corruption, how we could one day make real change in the Imperium. And then he gave up. He stopped trying.
Why did he give up?
On a journey to Hossberg, a Darkspawn raid killed his wife and sickened his son. I remember hearing the news. He hadn't been there, you see. Alexius was convinced he could have protected them. And the guilt tore him up. I helped him with his research for a while, and then we drifted apart.
That must have been difficult.
Back then, I was furious. I told him to snap out of it, move on. I thought I had all the answers. Later, I regretted my hasty words. But we didn't speak again until he approached me for the Venatori. Too much pride, I suppose. Plus, I was busy drinking. One must have priorities.
Was it hard being away from him?
It was hard not having a patron, yes. Not exactly built to fit in. At any rate, he's dead now. More's the pity.
It occurs to me that I barely know anything about you.
Beyond my being a mage from Tevinter, you mean?
Beyond that, yes.
And beyond my being so charming and well-dressed, which is obvious to anyone.
I'm well aware of your finer qualities, believe me.
Of course I believe you. The moment I saw you, I thought, there's a man who knows quality. Now, what was I talking about? Ah, yes, me. I am the scion of House Parvis, a product of generations of careful breeding and the repository of its hopes and dreams. Naturally, I despised it all. The lies, the scheming, the illusions of supremacy. That's Tevinter in a nutshell, isn't it? Needless to say, my family was not happy with my choices.
What did you mean by generations of careful breeding?
The great families of Tevinter don't have children. They refine traits, weed out the undesirable, and promote the rest. My mother was chosen for my father because magic runs strongly in her blood. Never mind that they loathed each other. They wanted a son who could become Archon to make House Parvis the envy of the Imperium. They got me. A cautionary tale that you should be careful what you wish for.
I'm getting the impression you don't care much for your homeland.
On the contrary, I care for my homeland a great deal. There's so much potential. Sadly, we squander it. We refuse to acknowledge how far we've fallen because pretending is easier. We pretend the Qunari can be beaten. We pretend that we're superior to everyone, even our own people. Not everyone feels that way. I don't. Sadly, we're the minority.
It just seems so much of what you say about the Imperium is entirely negative.
It might sound that way. For all our faults, my people have many virtues. We are laden with history and culture. Tevinter is where Thedas truly began, remember? We treasure our past and preserve it. You can walk down a side street and find nothing built during the modern ages. And despite appearances, we care. Deeply. About everything. We have no reserve, not in war and not in love. If I truly believed my homeland was beyond all hope, I wouldn't miss it so much.
Why would your family be upset with your choices?
Because I rejected their idyllic plan. If they had their way, by now I'd be married to some unlucky girl from a powerful family. We'd live in luxurious despair, despising each other as I waited to take my father's place in the magisterium. I declined the honor, and thus it's best I'm far from home. Less of an embarrassment that way, you see?
Why remain with the Inquisition? Why not go back to Tevinter?
I'm not exactly welcome back home. Not that it matters, I'm quite accustomed to being a pariah. It adds to my charm. I can do more for Tevinter here. If the Venatori succeed, it'll set my homeland back 1,000 years. I'm sure some magisters would disagree, but that's why we kill them.
I think I've heard enough.
That's too bad. I never tire of talking about myself.
I should go.
I do rather like watching you leave.
I cannot believe the Grey Wardens could even conceive of such a plan. To seek out these old gods deliberately, in some bizarre attempt to preempt the Blight.
How many lives were lost during the last Blight? Corypheus notwithstanding. I don't blame the Wardens for acting instead of reacting.
They acted stupidly.
By trying to end the Blight forever?
Yes. Would it have worked? Do you know? Did they? The fools who first unleashed the Blight upon this world thought they were unlocking ultimate power. Forgive me. The entire idea is unnerving. Greetings.
I'd like to know more about you, Solas.
Why?
You're an elven mage. Not from the Circle, not Dalish. You're an unknown element. I wouldn't trust my life to a blade before I'd tested its balance.
Nor would I. All right. What can I tell you?
You said you'd traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, and you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Inquisitor.
What happened in Adamant is a shame.
I'm still reeling over the army of demons. Imagine what would have happened if the Inquisitor hadn't arrived.
Let's see what we have.
Inquisitor.
Thank you for Haven and your efforts at Therenfall. I am committed to serve your worship.
You do, just that.
Thank you.
Good. I hope I can help somehow. Maybe cleaning?
Something like that.
No one quite knew where she came from. Sarah was never quite the
Heard what went on in that Fade thing? What you think went on? Can't even start to believe that business.
It's hard to describe. Guess you had to be there.
No friggin' thanks. Some people are still there. Hawke, yeah? Lost a champion. And in trade, a busted down bunch of wardens. And they're always weird. Usually, bad stuff happens first, so you're glad when the hero shows up. But wardens are the wrong way round. They're the good thing that means a bad thing is about to happen. Like in Denerim, when the Blight ended.
Someone has to have a plan. How else do you fight something that big?
Is it planning when legends show up? That's what they used to be. Just stories about griffons and stuff. I wonder what other made-up rubbish is just someone's plan we don't know about. Could do with less. Blackwall's nice, though. Different from the adamant ones. Need more like him. I hear Vashel was good pay for you, Inquisitor. Time to go see if my friends came through, too. Got a location for a stash. Hopefully something nice for my trouble. Well, your trouble. Just let me know when you're ready to head out. Be sure to bring your empty pockets.
I'm ready if you are.
Always, yeah? My favorite part, this. Let's go see what friends can get us. Wait, this is weird.
What?
I was expecting a village or something. The people that leave me stuff don't trek out to places like this. Give me a city and I'll give you a tour, but surprise, surprise, I don't know stupid woods or ruins. What's that?
Don't hurt me. Harmond made me do it.
Right. Things have gone sour. As they do.
No, it has to go right or he'll kill me for the marching. It wasn't my fault.
You were the one with the rumor out of Vashel. My friend.
You're her. You're the one he's waiting for. It's her. She's here. Red Jenny.
Hold on. I was not aware the Inquisitor was personally involved. This is a tragic misunderstanding. Let's all sheath our swords, you walk out, and we'll conduct this like business.
Don't believe this pissbag. He started it.
There. That wasn't so hard, was it? We identified the confusion, and we worked past it. I'm Lord Pel Harmond. I do hope, Inquisitor, that you continue to respond to reason. After all, your choice of company is hardly virtuous.
Freaking user, you are. Another noble prick who punches down.
We're the same, you and I. Well, that is overstating it. You are nothing like me. But we both need people.
This ambush was your doing. Or am I remembering that wrong?
Granted, it wasn't a direct attack, but the first move was hers, and apparently yours. Honestly, previous to this very moment, I thought you'd also been tricked by these Red Jennies. You're of noble birth, and as Inquisitor, you are more than a peer. I attacked them on behalf of us both.
Arse biscuit.
Quite. Inquisitor, Herald, I don't want to be your enemy. I'm barely invested in being hers. If you are willing to recognize an opportunity, we could be exceptional partners.
The servants you killed, they did nothing except talk about what was going on.
You killed my contacts. My friends.
That is entirely true.
Well, that should be that then.
You're the one who empowered them, made their complaints a threat. Perhaps you should have warned them about talking to you.
Stop talking to him. Really, just stop it.
Now what was the point of that?
Mother puss bucket, friggin' bastard, shitebag pissface. You think you lop-eared son of an arsenal rot piece of...
Sarah!
What?
Stop it! We're done here.
Fine. Friends, Inquisitor. Better than his lot any day. Hey, you. Know what? Thanks. Felt good to stomp the smile off that pisshead's face. It doesn't go bad like that often, yeah? But when it does, they deserve it.
Don't get full of yourself. This was as much your fault as his.
Sorry, what are you on about? Because that excuse for a person was a fully vetted arsehole. You sure as piss not putting me next to him.
You had me march my people through his territory. That provoked him. If we'd stayed out, it might have stayed peaceful.
What? I don't even know what to say to that. Let the bad man do what he wants, or he'll get worse. What kind of lay down and take it shite is that? You'd rather do nothing than try to make this better?
I have to think about the Inquisition, and how all the bigger pieces fit together.
See this eye? You're making it twitch, because that's stupid. Sometimes I cock things up, right? But at least I'm doing something. The greater good can frig it. You are bloody lucky you're still on my good side, because I'd... something.
I need all the help I can get, but consider this a warning.
Well, understood. Hop to and all that. If you need me, I'll be waiting for some barking arse to give me orders. So hard to get. Stupid. Everyone.
No. But you like demons! I enjoy the company of spirits, yes, which is part of why I do not abuse them with bindings. It isn't abuse if I ask. Not always true. Also, I do not practice blood magic, which renders this entire conversation academic. He won't bind me. He's a mage and he likes demons, but he won't help.
We just saw the Grey Wardens try to raise an army of demons. You want Solas to bind you?
He has to! If Solas won't do the ritual to bind me, someone else could. Will. Like the Warden mages, and then... I'm not me anymore. Walls around what I want. Blocking, bleeding, making me a monster.
We'll find a way to keep you safe without binding you, Cole.
I have a suggestion, if Cole is ready to listen. I recall stories of amulets used by Rivaini seers to protect spirits they summoned from rival mages. A spirit, wearing an amulet of the Unbound, was immune to blood magic and binding. It should protect Cole as well. The resources of the Inquisition could be used to find such a talisman. Good. They will not take me.
The soldiers make me nervous. Sitting around here,
Our patrols have spotted Venatori up in the hills, Inquisitor. They're studying a set of elven ruins. Why, we're not sure.
I found Butcher's corpse by the South Road. Venatori ambushed me afterward.
Only our highest operatives knew he was coming tonight. I must inform Sister Nightingale we have a traitor.
What's happening in Crestwood?
The dragon circling the lake looks hungrier than usual. Travelers on the road will be scarce until it's gone.
I should be going.
Farewell.
Your clothes look like the Fade, Dorian.
The stuff of dreams. An explosion of color and sensation wrapped in an enigma.
It's shiny.
Miller got caught.
No.
She fooled them into thinking she's from the court in Valrior. They'll treat her well. For a while.
It's awful for sending her out without a partner.
Are you saying one of our spies is compromised?
Yes, Inquisitor. Miller was captured in Valshavan.
She was after valuable information. Perhaps arrangements could be made to bring her back.